This is Russ Curtis, licensed clinical mental health counselor and professor of counseling. I am basing this off of, well, at least the underpinnings of this come from an article from Mendez, 2017, and I'm going to put that, not the link, but I'll put the citation in the box below. But I did want to talk about why do people follow narcissistic leaders, and it appears we're seeing more and more today. So first and foremost, simplicity. We appreciate messages that are simple from politicians. And if somebody appears powerful and if they have money, now that's related to kind of fear-based mentality, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. That grabs our attention and we feel like, oh, this person should be respected, that they've risen in ranks because of their power and so forth, and they've got all this money, so they must be doing something right. We're tired. The simplicity makes a lot of sense. We're tired. Life is complicated. We are complicated, and we don't like hearing this. I'm sure people are clicking off this video right now when I say that, but it is so complicated, so we like simple messages. We're going to lower taxes. We're going to stop immigration. So a lot of this stuff is just simple message that hits that really primal brain and causes fear. Then we think, oh, we've got to vote for this person. This person represents me. Okay, so, and also, economics, which is a huge part of why we elect people, and international affairs, another big reason. Incredibly complex. I want to give my hats off to the late Dr. Jack Wilson at NC State. I took macroeconomics with him, and he would put on the board if we had just a slight increase in interest rates or even a slight decrease, and he would fill up the entire chalkboard at that time with all the different supply and demand systems that were affected by just that simple increase. I always used to love watching that, but it made me very aware and appreciative of how complicated economics is, and I can only imagine what international affairs is like. So frankly, when we're looking to elect leaders, I would personally like for them to have a couple Ph.D.s, one in economics, one in international affairs, and a thorough psychological evaluation, maybe the type of thing the military does to determine who can be in leadership positions and so forth, to make sure that we've got people that use sound judgment, have emotional intelligence, and so forth. But while we follow narcissistic leaders, we are drawn to those simple statements. Also relatable, particularly if you're raised in a tradition to be told that you are innately flawed, somebody that is relatable. Let's give an example here. Hitler had no formal education, no particularly powerful friends. He was an immigrant, and no money. But so he was relatable to the people when he came out with a simplistic message of increasing nationalism, doing away with the immigrants that are destroying the German culture and so forth. So, relatable people, if you've got somebody who is really well educated, doesn't have a history of lying and cheating and stealing and manipulating, some people could be a little suspicious, unfortunately, and not be able to relate. Also flawed. That's very it's very related to relatable. But people that are flawed we can identify with because, sure, we're humans. We make mistakes. That's how we learn and grow. So that may be something that we feel a connection to. And then the negative attention bias. This gets to some of the research that Mendez was talking about related to our fear response. And listen, the political parties, they are, holding all kind of focus groups, finding out what is the simple message that will stir you, that will activate your brain to get you out to the polls. And I'm just going to make this really simple on some of the studies they've done, for instance, to look at people who are more what I call fear-based versus more open, if you will. If we were to look at the 5-factor model, you'll find that particularly people who are more conservative tend to score higher in conscientiousness, and people who are more liberal score higher in openness to experience. But for one experiment that they do is that they will show pictures of faces. So a face will come up on the computer screen, and you are to decide whether this person is, happy or angry or neutral. And what they have found with people that are more fear-based is that a neutral face that comes up, so it's not grimacing like in anger, it's not smiling like happy, would be viewed more negatively or suspiciously. So it's fear motivates folks, and particularly more so for people that are more fear-based, and they do think that this could be 40 to 60% genetic. So I'm going to put the link to this article. Be careful with where you're getting information on social media, and a lot more we could talk about this. Let me know your comments and so forth, and we'll talk to you on the next video. Take good care.